Well, shucks, we'll give this video a shot. I'm having some issues with my audio, so I'm going to have to speak loudly and clearly, but hopefully it gets through. Welcome back to another episode of Decks on Deck. Yeah, same location, different location within the same location. I'm here to talk to you guys about the modern metagame and what's going on and how certain decks are approaching it. So, modern uh, is really open right now. The banning of Fury changed a lot of things. It's changing how people are approaching the format. It's changing creature decks. It's making, creature combo decks or mass attrition creature decks more viable, which is really sick. So decks like Affinity are coming back on. So the background you see here is me kind of looking into some of the Affinity decks that are going on right now, just to try to figure out what's happening on the ground floor of aggro. And some of them seem okay. Like nothing too crazy. I'm seeing Memnite, Esper Sentinel, great card. Ginger Brute, cool. Whatever. Urza as a 4 of, okay, you're doing big mana stuff. Thoughtcast, Thoughtseer, Aether Spellbomb, bunch of good stuff. Artifacts, and then a bit of a toolbox, which is being fueled off of Urza Saga, right? So I'm like, alright. And I jump around, and I see a lot of the same, a lot of Urza, a lot of, like, Emery stuff, and then we also got to see a few other interesting lists, but at this point in time, none of these Affinity decks kind of interest me. I think there's better options for attacking the current metagame at this point in time. Specifically, things like, let me see if I can make this jump properly. Boom. Fabulous. So, these are some of the things that I've been seeing that kind of spike my interest as far as like where I would like to take Affinity at this point. Um, so this is kind of like a bit of a niche list, but it's really fun. I'm just kind of curious to see what you guys think of it. So 3 cranial plating, Bomat couriers, right? Esper Sentinel, Frogmite. I was thinking about running Ragavan instead of Esper Sentinel, but I kind of want to try out Esper Sentinel. I actually just run the deck with Ragavan beforehand, and I went best 2 out of 3 against Rhinos, so it still works, but I want to try it out with Esper Sentinel. Playset of Frogmite, playset of Ginger Brood, playset of Ornithopter, Thought Monitor playset, right? All That Glitters is a playset. Now, running 3 cranial plating and 4 All That Glitters is like, I think it's where we actually want to be, because we want threats, right? Like, we're playing bots, we want everything to be a threat, which is why we're also playing in Soul Artifact. So essentially, All That Glitters and in Soul Artifact essentially is just going to make something beefy, right? So we're using that to our advantage. So we have, along with cranial plating, but this is really what's going to be swinging. And like I was playing this against Rhinos, and like as soon as something's a 5/5, they have no play. They have no play. They're going to be 2 for 1, 3 for 1 themselves. Like, yeah, you're enchanting one of your own guys, so it's a 2 for 2 or a 2 for 3 or whatever. But like honestly, it works itself out. The land base I've been playing with, and I'm really having a lot of fun with the artifact lands. So I'll show you why in the next deck that we're looking at. But for this, they work properly. Like this is not a crazy list, but it works quite well. Especially having the dark steels in there for the Ensoul artifact, like just synergy. And then 3 Thoughtcast. Like the deck flows very efficiently and draws like an assload of cards, especially off the Thought Monitor. So like a deck like this plays very well, and to me, this is like what a traditional Affinity deck would look like nowadays. But like no one's doing that. Everyone's taking it in a different way. So I'm playing like Tormod script in the board. The last Bomat Courier. Actually, he shouldn't be in the board. He's not supposed to be here. This is supposed to be a 2. There we are. Let's go save that as boom, Jeskai Affinity. Yeah, so here's the Jeskai Affinity list. It's not crazy, but it wins. It just wins. It's a mass attrition deck. It'll just win. That's kind of the point. It's weak against combo. It's weak against a bunch of stuff. It's like, yeah, you got a couple spell pierce here. You can do some stuff. Like you can really push the clock with this. You can mess with graveyards with that. You can slow people down. You have some disruption. You can blow up lands. Like, good things. But if we look at the deck that instead takes blowing up lands as like a main deck priority, which is this is a really cool deck. I'm trying to remember who I saw play it. I'm not sure if it was Gabriel Nassif or someone along those lines, but like an old school European player, very good. And I kind of took the deck and ran with it a little bit and tried to put my own little spin on it. Not like completely transform it, but just make it seem more playable for what I'm doing. And this is that list. It's very different. It's I feel like it's more of a mid-range deck that can just win out of nowhere instead of being like a traditional aggro affinity deck. So not too crazy, but it's weird. So a playset of the One Ring, because that Soul Ring ability is actually going to be really useful. Even if it seems like it's not, the most aggressive thing, it's not supposed to be. This is supposed to like grind you out. This is supposed to like get you those games. This is what's doing all the work, right? Or at least like buying you time. Also, it's indestructible. You can Ensoul Artifact it. It sounds weird, but like it happens. Not that you would tap, like when you're done tapping it and putting counters on, you could do that. Not that you would, but it's a maybe. This deck does play a playset of Ragavan, and it works really well with the deck, and it's the only creature we really play. And Soul Artifact gets the job done. We know what it does. 4 Galv Blast always, 4 Bolt. Like, this deck is burn heavy. Like, I know it's a mid-range deck, but it will burn you out. That's the thing. If I can smack you down to 13, you're dead. Like, it sounds weird, but, like, you'll die that quick. So, yeah, playset of Bolt, playset of Galv Blast, 2 Shrapnel Blast. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, look at this burn. Like, deal in 4, deal in 3, deal in 5. Bro, we're coming for your head. Like, that's just what this deck does. Spell Pierce, and running a playset of Spell Pierce in the main is really, really pertinent. If you know your matchups, you could, counter all kinds of stuff with this. Obviously, you could hit Rhinos, you could hit counter spells, you could hit, removal spells, but also you can do stuff like, if you're smart with it, and you're on a play, geez, you could counter an amulet, put Titan in its place, and you can do a lot. It just gives you versatility and permission in the main deck, which for something like a playset of Spell Pierce in today's meta is super, super great and just underplayed. Now, the lands on this, they're playing more lands, mostly because, they don't have that much quick mana, and they don't have stuff, like, every spell costs something. Yes, it's 1s and 2s, but, like, you're playing, like, natural 4/1 rings. So, like, having 24 lands, especially considering a lot of them are going to be entering tapped, is going to be necessary. And that allows you to do all kinds of neat stuff like this. This is why we do all this. It's so that we can do this. So, playset Cleansing Wildfire. Wow. First of all, Evolving Wilds, eat your heart out. Like, this is that plus draw a card. Jeez. You know? And then, because you hit yourself, right? And then, boom. Yeah, you could cast Bust at some point, and I've done it once, and it was really funny. But, because, indestructible lands get you pretty far ahead when it comes to destroy all lands. But, again, just using indestructible lands with Boom is a turn 2 Stone Rain, right? Which is super fucking relevant right now. We got Rhinos out there, we got the 4-color value decks, there's Omnath. Geez, even something like that could put like Living End back a turn. It messes with Titan. It's just all kinds of interact. It takes out Urza Saga. Like, this thing is just mint, right? And it's super underplayed. So I actually just purchased these online for myself, and they're going to be coming soon. So I'm really excited about that. But essentially, Boom Bust is something that does not see enough play. And we haven't seen land destruction in Modern in a minute. Like, no one's playing Fulminator Mage. Yeah, maybe Jund is doing that. Whatever. Fulminator Mage, always a good card, but no one's playing land disruption. No one's going like Panza is not a deck anymore, right? So the fact that you can blow something up like for 2 mana like this is just really nifty. So this is like my kind of artifact list. It feels completely different. We got Rise and Shines, just again with the lands, make them a thing. Like, it's really simple as a deck. It's really simple, but it is squirrely enough and nimble enough and just sneaky enough to get you out of all kinds of situations. So I highly recommend looking into Affinity and taking Affinity and making it your own. Like, look at some of these new cards that have come out, like Rise and Shine, or the All That Glitters, or like even the One Ring, or all these new cards are actually going to put a completely different spin on this archetype, and no one has been winning with Affinity lately on a big scale. I've seen some people, you hear showing up at tournaments and percentages, and more power to those people. But like, it's not doing what I think we want it to do. So I want people to start brewing it. So that's everyone's homework. Start brewing Affinity. Come up with your own list that's different. And we want to see your 10-man squad, and that's what's up. Anyway, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm playing this boom bust list, and I'm trying out the other list too, and I'm kind of between them. But if you guys have any suggestions for an Affinity list, I'd be happy to take a look at it, as long as it's got some decent firepower and it's not like a controlling Affinity list. Like, I was looking at the decks with Urzas in it, but like, man, 4 mana for an Urza, then you can get infinite mana. Not infinite, but like, butt tons of mana off the blue artifacts and stuff. It seems good, but I don't think that's what I really want to do in Modern, considering the threat level of all the other decks. So that's just kind of where I'm at. I'd rather beat them in the face and let them try to win, or set up for a win next turn and just beat them that same turn. Anyway, that's where I'm at. Much love. Decks on deck out. Tin Man. Robots.